Your alternative to ordinary radio.
Too ugly for TV. Too dumb for the paper. It's the big show.
We're going to talk tonight to Ivan Mihaljevic. I consider him to be the rock legend of Europe. That's the guy there with his side effects. So right now, in a few minutes, we should be talking to the guy. All the blah blah that I did before will come up later when the edited version is edited. It's my pleasure to have such a talented dude on the show. Some of the great achievements the guy has done. Read my lips, yes, he has played with Whitesnake. That's right, Whitesnake. And naming some others like Mr. Big, Racer X and Poison. He's also been in numerous radio and TV shows, most probably greater than mine anyway. Salaprove, Rock TV, Metalize, Z1, ITV, and recently on the cover of a big magazine that is published in India, in the, you know, the Indian music scene over there, you know, Japan, China, and you know, the Far East. So. Great. The other greatest thing is that, yes, he has played with legendary guitar creator Les Paul. But what more can we say about the guy? We can say a hell of a lot more, but I'd rather get him to talk about his history, his love, his passion, his songs, the studio work and travels, and what he has planning to do in the future. Okay, so without further ado, I'd like to get on with the show.
Music is our business, and business is good.
And this, my dear friends, is one of my favorite tracks from the master. This is the man. This is the dude. This is Ivan. Hello there, let's just turn that down a little bit, see if I can get there. We have the man, we have the legend, European rock dude. Hello Ivan, can you hear me? Are we, how are we doing? Any sound coming through? Yes. Can you just give me a little bit more chat?
Yeah. Blah, 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 blah,
blah, blah, blah, blah. 1, 2, 3, testing, let's knock on the mic. Cut, cut, cut. Okay. I hear you a little bit better now.
Knock on the mic.
Oh, you don't knock on the mic, okay. We'll skip that one. I do hear you a little bit better. So here we have Ivan Mihaljevic. Now, correct me. How do I actually pronounce your name?
Ivan Mihaljevic.
Mihaljevic. Mihaljevic.
Mihaljevic. Yeah, something like that.
Mihaljevic. Mihalje. It's a yeah.
Yeah.
Mihaljevic. Okay, well, I'll try. Yeah. Please forgive me. Excuse me, as they say. I'm English. It usually works. It usually works. But I do apologize if the pronunciation is not as good as it should do. So, Ivan, one of my favorite tracks that I started off now, which have been quite finished, this one here playing in the background.
Okay.
That one. Cascading Mirrors, you call it. Now, I had...
yeah, actually...
Tell me.
I recently recorded a new version of it for YouTube. I don't know if you saw that one.
Wow. Did you? Oh, my God. Did I miss it? Is it this one or not? It's not this one, is it? Hang on, I'll put it on for you.
This is the old one. I've recorded this one, I think, about 5 years ago.
Ah.
Maybe even more. I'm not sure now.
Oh, man. God, didn't I get it? What happened to it? Cascading Mirrors, I got that, and I really like it. Now, I used to play one that had all this visual behind it, you know, all this stuff without you. Just the music and the visuals. Is it that one?
No, I didn't do that one. That's a fan-made video.
Oh, right.
But there's a new version I recorded about a month ago, or maybe 2 months ago.
Oh. I'm sad to hear it that I don't have it. Will you be able to send it to me?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thanks. That's something. Well, okay, while this is playing in the background, anyway, as it is, it's still nice. I like it because it has a very good hook and a riff to it. And I was going to ask you if you don't actually want a lot of copyright fees. In fact, maybe zero because we're friends. if you can let me loop it, and every time I'm on the Fatsa Fatsa show and I'm talking to somebody, if I can have your music in the background, and I will, credit you for it. Obviously, now think about it, because I don't want to pressure you because we're live, here, and you feel that you ought to be nice to me. But it will be my pleasure. Okay. I've always liked this piece of music from like 7-8 months ago when I was playing it on Fatsa Fatsa. I don't know if you ever saw any of those shows, but I
I did.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay. Thanks. But I mean, I like all your other stuff too, but this one is just, it's so hooky, man. This is definitely a single. It could be worked out as a single if you ever thought about it. But anyway, let's come back to you. Ivan is with us. If anybody else is actually watching the show and wants to join us with Ivan, but give us a good 20 minutes or so. Please be patient so that we can extract some information from the dude, and then we can move on. So, my friend, I'd like to start off like a lot of people like to start off. I mean, when I was a kid, I didn't have any clue that I want to be a musician or a guitarist. Not that I'm anywhere near a guitarist as you, but I know a few chords. And I didn't know until I was 14. How did you decide that is what you'd like to be? How did that start about with you?
Actually, I started playing the guitar at age 14. And before that, I mean, there was a huge passion for music. I loved listening to rock music, and the idea of playing the instrument, any instrument, boiled inside of me for a while. I was afraid of it in a way, because I thought I wouldn't be any good at it. So one day it just, reached the boiling point, and I said I must pick up a guitar. And that's when I started. And I think a couple of years later, when I was about, 16 or 17, I decided that music is what I want to do for a living, forever.
Bravo. Personal question, before I ask you who your favorite artists are, because you mentioned the word living. Not a lot of musicians, unless you're like in the pro business of like being in the top 50 of some kind of chart. I don't mean the Reverb Nation chart. I'm talking about chart, like BBC and those kind of charts. Because a lot of people say, hey man, I'm number one in the charts of, Pittsonville. And Pittsonville's got like, 200 people that live there. and only about 10 registered users on Reverb Nation, and they're number one. Okay, that we could do that. So we're talking about, are you happy with what you're doing? I mean, studio wise, equipment.
Yeah, I'm very happy. If it didn't make me happy, I wouldn't be doing that.
Okay,
I would be doing something else.
Okay, is that me or you? No, I think that is. Sorry, while I switch this off, I do apologise. I do apologise. I do apologise. I don't know how to switch it off. Hello, wife, where are you? And my lovely one, how do I switch it off? There you go. Yeah, I'm pretty useless when it comes to technicalities. Okay, so who were your idols when you were at that age and growing up and playing, wanted to play the guitar and be, in the music? I mean, you must have been influenced by certain people.
Yeah, it's funny because nowadays you would never guess that from the type of music and from the style I've developed. But my biggest influence early on was Oasis and Noel Gallagher, the guitar player from Oasis. Yeah.
Man, you've touched a little sore spot on me right now. But this is why, yeah. Now, I'd like to challenge a professional, as a person of yourself, because obviously it's not. I know we like certain people, but hopefully we don't like them fanatically to the point that we can't see, what's black and what's white. When I DJ and I play Oasis, unfortunately, I do dub them as a copy of the Beatles, and especially certain numbers that come in with the cellos and end with something else towards the end. And I challenge you as a musician, because you're a great musician, do you yourself actually hear these things that my ears hear, or is it just my ears, want to be vindictive to Oasis?
Well, I mean, it's not a secret. Noel has said it himself. He's been a huge fan of the Beatles, and
okay,
no problem, it's okay.
All right, thanks a lot, man. So Oasis, and okay, so Lowell has said that he, he was influenced by the Beatles, but as a musician, though, don't you find that their musician is like pretty much 80%, of similarity? This is my point. This is what I'm trying to get at, or not?
Well, I don't know. I didn't even think about that a lot, especially when I was younger. I just liked the music and I listened to it, and that's it. And I'm also a fan of the Beatles. I think they're great.
Well, okay. Having said that, I'll just put you there in the background as well, rather than what I have, because I'm not really a fan of what I have. Sorry, I'll just turn that down a little bit. It's technical stuff. There you go. Okay, that's cool. That's given me a reasonable answer that I will like. But I could come back and say, well, okay, you were liked Oasis, but your music. The music that I've heard, and I've heard maybe, I don't know, a dozen or so of your tracks, and none of them resemble Oasis. That's what I'm getting at. None of them.
Yeah, that's what I told you. It's something you wouldn't guess from the style of music I'm playing now, but Oasis was definitely my biggest influence on wanting to pick up a guitar. Afterwards, I was influenced by many different bands, but that was just the first impulse that made me want to play guitar.
Okay, accepted. And you continued. How was the road going upwards? Because obviously you didn't go backwards, you went upwards. Picked up the guitar, 16, influenced by Oasis and so on. What how did you did you go out solo? How did you get a few other people to play with you, and so on? How did that work out?
Well, obviously from the moment I began playing the guitar, I wanted to form a band. I wanted to play with some other people, and I tried out with a lot of friends who also played music, and after about a year or a year and a half, I formed my first band, which was first named Ravenlord, and then we changed the name to Forsaken. And the guys from that band were actually huge fans of Metallica. And that's where the Metallica influence came in for me, because at that point, I mean, I did listen to Metallica, but I wasn't really a huge fan, but those guys were, and they made me get into Metallica a lot more. So we played a lot of Metallica songs, and that also influenced me at that period.
Moving on from Oasis, of course, another big difference. But
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
great. Have you always been a three-piece, or were there a bigger band and it just got turned, to less and less people?
You mean this band?
Well, this band now, because you formed a band, yeah? You talked about the other guys influence you, through Metallica. I didn't ask how many of you were,
Yeah.
but have you...
But it was a completely different band.
Fine.
That was a four-piece, and I'm still friends with those guys, but we're not playing music together anymore.
Okay, that's cool. But how did you end up as a three-piece? I mean, minus one player. Did this make the music easier, or the playing, or the getting together easier? Because being a three-piece, just so that other people know, it's not really that easy because you're a rhythm player, a lead player. Then obviously, if you just played lead and didn't play any rhythm chord like some full strings, it sounds rather empty-ish, as we know. And it's an art, and it's not that easy as people think. That's why when it's a four-piece and you have a rhythm guitarist as an example, it does fill in some of the spaces. So how did you tackle that?
Through thinking about the arrangements, I guess, and we've got a great bass player with side effects now. His name is Marko Karacic. We call him Karo, and he's really conscious about the arrangement, and he can fill in those gaps very well. And to tell you the truth, I'm not a fan of having two guitarists in a band because I feel it can get a bit noisy.
Yeah, it does.
I'd rather have a keyboard player than another guitar player in the band.
Okay.
I mean, it can work, of course. It can work with two guitars, but I've been in bands with two guitar players, and I've always preferred playing in a trio.
Well, I don't actually find anything missing in your tracks. I mean, they're very, very full. And as you have mentioned earlier, it's basically the arrangement, I suppose. So that when you're actually doing a track, you're conscious of the arrangement. So everybody does a little bit extra to compensate for that. There is an emptiness, really. I mean, if you just played lead, obviously
we all play too much.
But it's
we
great.
We all play too much, right. So there's no empty spaces.
Well, this is what I mean. You're conscious of the song. You arrange it in such a way so that there is no emptiness. That's what I'm getting. And there's been some great trio bands on the planet. Jimi Hendrix was a trio band. Yeah. Cream. Yeah. With Clapton and Ginger Baker and so. So Rush. They're a bit too heavy for me, yes, but you mentioned them. Okay, Rush. That's cool. Right, let's get into a track. Well, the other question would be, when did you begin to actually, because in the beginning, I suppose, I don't know if this is a rule for you or it works, but most bands, when they start out, to get known or heard or anything, they need to play some of the songs that they've learned from their idols or something. Have you played covers when you first began?
Yeah. You mean with this band or?
No, any band. When you first began, in your career.
Yeah, when I first began, I've mentioned my first band, Forsaken. We played, as I said, they were huge Metallica fans.
Okay.
So we played really a lot of Metallica songs.
Oh, okay, that's a bit too much then. That's cool. When did you start thinking, or how did you get into writing original material?
Well, basically from the beginning, I guess I just had that need to write in me because I think I wrote my first song after, I don't know, a couple of months of playing the guitar. So I just knew a few chords, and with them I wrote a song, a simple song. And I've been writing music ever since.
Okay. I have a track coming up. I don't know much about it, but if you... I think it comes as a part of... I try to find information where like yourself and other people, they enter certain competitions. It's called the Pirate Song here.
Oh, yeah.
Can you... We're going to listen to it and maybe towards the end come in and have a chat, because that will bring us to another level of chatting. I got the year as 2009 here, and it's something to do with Guitar Idol. Can you fill us up on that before we get into the track a little bit?
Yeah, that was an online competition that I took part in, And yeah, it's actually a song that I wrote for that competition.
Wow.
And I didn't win the competition.
It's
But
irrelevant. But
Yeah.
you don't always have to win a competition, but you know, at least you
Yeah,
took part and you did what you did, and it's there. I mean, it's there and no one can deny it. So that's just as good as anything.
Yeah.
You know? Okay, so this is an original song. It's called the Pirate Song, and it was I was impressed. I liked it. So let's give that a spin, and then we'll come back. I have here, just to let you know, I have Time Travel and a couple of tracks that you did with Whitesnake, so that that'll give you some idea of what I have, because like I said, I'd like to take the show as it goes, and so far I think I'm doing fine. We'll come back in a few more questions in a little tick. Okay, so let's go hear the Pirate Song. Okay, this is the fun that I like playing with. Excuse me, I think I did mention that I don't do things out of the ordinary, so I do apologise. So here we are, Ivan. Now, we have on the video wall here, I just managed to get a snap. Now, bass guitarist, I presume, right?
Yeah.
Right. Tell me about, is that Marco?
No, that's Michael, our former bass player.
Former bass player. Okay, so I did a little fuck up there, but anyway, what I see here is, again, it's the filling up, isn't it? I mean, it's beautiful how it goes. You know, it's very nice. It's well done. It's very catchy. The riff there is, and there you are, both spot on, man. That is great stuff there. Okay, we'll come back to the other guys in a minute. I'll just let this zoom through, but picking up on things that are very interesting for other listeners to hear and see what's behind the scenes. Okay, and the drummer, different?
Alan Frljak, yeah, still the same drummer.
Still the same drummer.
Great drummer.
Yeah. The fills there are great too. And personally, I although the feels are feels and pretty good feels they are too, he's not a drummer that just goes all over the place. You know, these drummers that just, but feels and on the beat. Very fine bunch of musicians that you have, as well as yourself. So let's come up to date. If up to date is kind of correct, we'll go on to the band that is now, which are called the Side Effects. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how come?
This was also recorded with the Side Effects.
Oh, this was recorded with the Side Effects.
Yeah,
Okay, so
these are the Side Effects.
these are the Side Effects. I got confused because of you said it. The bass player is the previous bass player. Okay. What's your lineup now?
Of the Side Effects. Alan Frljak on the drums. That's the drummer from this video, and Marko Karacic, Karo on bass.
Karacic on the bass.
That's the lineup from the Whitesnake gig that you said that you will play later.
Oh yeah. Okay, rock on. How did you guys get together? How was the updated band of Ivan was came up?
Alan was in the band from the beginning. So first, I recorded the first album, Sandcastle, myself. And then I needed a band because I was invited to open for Paul Gilbert in Zagreb. So Alan was the first drummer that I called. He's probably the best drummer that I know, and I asked him if he'd like to play that show with me, and he said yes. And after the show, he told me that he likes the music and that he'd like to continue working with me. And the same happened with our first bass player, Mihaljevic, who he actually also played the bass on the album Sandcastle. And last year we had our first lineup change and got Marko Karacic on bass. I have no idea when I met Karo, but I've known him for a while, and we're still friends with Michael. We didn't have a fight or anything, but we had some scheduling conflicts. We played some big gigs in Italy last year, and he had a problem with coordinating that with his job and family commitments. So we agreed to go separate ways.
Okay. This is one of the problems about musicians who take it up and say, well, as you said, I'm going to make a living out of it, and this will be my bread and butter, and also my dream come true. I asked the same question to Julie yesterday when we were talking, a Canadian artist just up and coming, she would go from Canada to say Nashville, and I said to her, well, if people would say to you, come there tomorrow, what would you do? And she said, I'd go. So therefore, this is like a question that for any band member to join anyone or become a team or one of the same people, they need to understand that if you're going to go, you need to go. So yes, it's difficult when you need to do something and somebody cannot come. Obviously, it's just it's very difficult. I understand your problem. I had the same problem back in the 70s when I wanted to do a bit of touring in Europe, and one of my band players, a drummer, he couldn't make it because he fell in love. And I thought, well, okay, falling in love is good, but it doesn't really help the band, does it? So, when you want to get up and go, you need to get up and go. You've played with a lot of people. What is the feeling behind it when you're playing with? For instance, the Les Paul. please describe that feeling if it's possible to describe it, because I mean, for people who don't know, the guitar, I mean, Les Paul is, or it's Les Paul, you just can't change it. Please, the floor is yours. Tell us, how did that come about?
Well, I was in the States recording an album with an artist, with an American artist, and he knew Les Paul, so we came to see Les Paul's show, hanged out with him in backstage, and Les Paul just asked me if I want to play a song with him on the stage, and of course I said yes.
Wow,
and we played
man.
his song, How High the Moon. And the feeling, I don't know if I can describe it, because I feel as if I wasn't there at that moment. I felt as if I was watching the show from the audience, and
Wow.
I was on stage, but it felt like I'm watching myself performing on stage.
Man, that must have been some feeling, I tell you. I mean, yeah, okay. And you knew the track, I presume, when you just joined and had a jam with the guy. I mean, yeah. Did you study? Not study like, you know, went to school, but I mean, in one of the influences of you growing up as a guitarist, where did Les Paul come into it? Did it come into it at any given time?
I wouldn't say I was ever really listening to Les Paul's music, but he was a huge influence on rock and roll, so he did influence me in that way, because without the man who invented the solid body electric guitar, rock and roll wouldn't be possible.
Yeah, that's a true fact. What are your favorite guitar? I saw a video clip of you a few days ago, or about a week ago or so, on YouTube, and you were, I presume, as a guitarist as yourself, you'd get a lot of offers from companies that, you know, want to sell their guitars for A, B, or C reason. Everybody's in a business to earn a living and make money. But in your taste of guitars, what is your, like, you know, favorite guitar? Some people like Fender, and other people like Gibsons. I mean, what turns you on when it comes to guitars?
I've been endorsed by Music Man for a couple of years now, and my favorite guitar is the Music Man Silhouette Special that I'm using most of the time now.
So basically, I would take that as a real faith, and not just, you know, like some people wear basketball boots because they're going to get $1 million out of it, you know, but really they prefer some.
No, I didn't get $1 million.
No, but I mean, it's an example.
I didn't get $1 million, so I really like those guitars.
You really like them, that's what I meant. So you really like it because you continue. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Welcome to the future.